At this moment, on behalf of the good people of TARKWA, to congratulate MEDEAMA Sporting Club for making us proud. Mr. Speaker, TARKWA is globally known as the center of gold mining in Ghana from pre-colonial era. The enclave hosts 5 large-scale gold-producing companies and the country's sole manganese-producing mine. According to the Ghana Chamber of Mines report, the enclave accounted for some 40% of total gold produced in 2021. Mr. Speaker, TARKWA and Obuasi must serve as model cities for the future to at least cover up the much-touted resource curse hypothesis. Mr. Speaker, various literature have made us consciously aware that revenues from the exploitation of non-renewable resources are by nature unsustainable. Mr. Speaker, as the famous Paul Collier, my own lecturer at Oxford, put it, a key mineral revenue strategy is for governments and stakeholders to allocate such revenues that can provide the greatest social This vision has been simplified as TARKWA after the mine. This is an ideology which seeks to always remind the various stakeholders of coming days where we may not have the known finite reserves in commercial quantities and may compromise the sustainability of our local economies. Mr. Speaker, since I assumed office as a Member of Parliament and the first board chairperson of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, I've always reiterated the point that mineral revenues should be ring-fenced and not slammed into the consolidated fund. Moreover, it must not also be tracked in the lines of consumption and recurrent expenditures, but critically invest in infrastructure, health, education, human resource development, sports development, among others, to foster socio-economic development. Mr. Speaker, it is very refreshing to indicate that developmental projects are gradually becoming a reality in the TARKWA NSUAEM municipality. Gabriel Koto is actively working on the Agunan-Kwanta TARKWA stretch as we speak, with work progressing steadily. I thank His Excellency, the President and the Minister for Roads and Highways. Mr. Speaker, for example, the TARKWA-based University of Mines and Technology, winning of the Ghana Gas Challenge 3 consecutive times in a row since the challenge was instituted, has proved how the various infrastructural projects by the government have lifted the general capacity of the university. UMAT has for the 4th time since 2016 won the National Petroball Contests and the African Petroball Contest recently held at the University of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I am glad to indicate that UMAT, by this feat, will be representing the entire Africa at the 2023 International Petroball Contest in Houston, USA. This is great news for the good people of TARKWA, Wasaman, and Ghana. Mr. Speaker, education is very important, and investment in education in the mining communities is one surest way towards building a sustainable future. For education to be meaningful, teachers must give their best as postulated by Sidney Hook, an American philosopher. And I quote, "The teacher is the heart of the educational system," unquote. If they are the heartbeat, then we need to motivate them. Mr. Speaker, on June 3rd, 2023, I held the 2nd edition of the Duka Teachers Awards scheme in my constituency, TARKWA NSUAEM, where 19 teachers were awarded various prizes. The overall best teacher, Mr. Speaker, walked home with a brand new Suzuki Swift vehicle. I use this medium to congratulate Madam Edna Amirie, a tutor at the TARKWA SHS, for winning the coveted award. Mr. Speaker, the various extractive companies in TARKWA are being lobbied to undertake CSR projects that will stand the test of time. This initiative is to compensate for the loss of the mineral resource exploitation gap. The narrative now is to use mining to create tangible projects for the future and also add value to our resource base. If United Arab Emirates can invest in infrastructure to attract tourists as a strategy to sustainably invest oil rents, and Botswana, our own sister country, could manage their mineral rents to sustain their economy, then I believe Ghana, Africa's largest producer of gold, is on the right path by establishing the Minerals Income Investment Fund to build local champions in the industry and also ensure the betterment of our future generation. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to reiterate that the narrative in TARKWA is changing. Mr. Speaker, when I assumed office in January 7, 2017, MEDEAMA Sporting Club had to play all their home games out of TARKWA due to non-availability of standard pitches. This really affected their fortunes. However, through the benevolent support of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, Mr. Speaker, I facilitated the construction of the Dome-KWABENYA AstroTurf through GMPC in 2020. The construction of Akon Park, which became MEDEAMA's home grounds in 2019 through Goldfields Ghana Limited. The construction of the Cyanide AstroTurf through CODA in 2022. The ongoing construction of Simpa AstroTurf and the reconstruction of the 10,000-seater capacity TNA Stadium with an amount of $16 million through Goldfields Ghana Limited. Mr. Speaker, apart from its rich mineral resources, TARKWA in the Wasafiasi traditional area of the Western region is also rich in sporting talents. When it comes to soccer, various TARKWA-based clubs strive to achieve laurels in the past without success. Mr. Speaker, some of these clubs were Gold Stars, TARKWA United, Wasaman, Insuta National, Mobile Stars, Dachi Stars, GAG, Socceroos, and Real TARKWA United. It was the TARKWA Gold Stars that made the town taste some elite football with a short stint in the then Division 1 Football League in 1979. The team was unfortunately relegated to the second division the following year in 1980. The TARKWA Gold Stars produced football-great personalities like Afrane, Kalilu Dramani, and Opokunti, who later became the captain for Kotoko and Ghana Black Stars. Mr. Speaker, it has taken 30 good years for TARKWA and Wasaman in general to taste elite football again when, in 2008, Moses Amapak founded the team in my hometown, Dompempepesa, when I was the municipal chief executive. Since then, MEDEAMA Sporting Club has been a household name in the Ghana soccer fraternity. It was all joy in June 11th, 2023, Mr. Speaker, when MEDEAMA Sporting Club were crowned 2022-2023 Ghana Premier League champions. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time in 47 years that a major soccer trophy has come to the Western region after the Sekendi Great Azakis won the then First Division League in 1976. I can confidently say that TARKWA now hosts the best sporting facilities to unearth talents to foster economic growth. TARKWA will soon host Mamelodi Sundowns, Raja Casablancas, Zamaleks, Kano Pilas, etc. Mr. Speaker, the entire team of MEDEAMA is here today as you warmly welcome them this morning to present the trophy to the Speaker and members of Parliament for their support and blessings during the season. And the trophy is here at the chamber, as you can see. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, MEDEAMA will be representing Ghana for the CAF Championship, and it is our plea that Ghanaians will give their support to the team for a successful tournament. I thank my constituents, Nananom, institutions, and Ghanaians in general for the support they rendered to MEDEAMA Sporting Club during the league games to achieve this laurel. MEDEAMA Sporting Club, congratulations, and Wasserman is proud of you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the entire House for your attention. We are grateful.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I want to also thank the maker of the statement, the Honorable Member for TARKWA NSUAEM, for making such a statement to congratulate our young and energetic men, MEDEAMA Sporting Club. I want to add my voice to the congratulatory messages that had already been stated on the floor by colleague members of Parliament. And I also want to say that, Mr. Speaker, sports is no longer a game. We've gone past that stage where we only use sports as a source of entertainment or a source of social activity in our communities. Mr. Speaker, sports has now grown from that stage into a business, as many of the contributors have already stated. So, Mr. Speaker, if it's a business, then we ought to organize it in such a way that it's run as a business organization and not just a fun club. Mr. Speaker, I am happy that our young men here have put in a lot of effort to bring home this medal, and it's an achievement for the whole nation. It's an achievement for us as mothers. It's an achievement for us as fathers. And we want to see them rise higher and higher on the game. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I want to make a statement emphatically that our universities must start grooming our young men and women in sports. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the Western world now, one of the courses that are challenging and that are more competitive are courses in sports. Mr. Speaker, an example is the United Kingdom. I have a nephew there, and he gained admission into Leicester University. And as usual, as a traditional person, I was like, okay, so what course are you going to read over there? I was expecting the usual law, the usual medical program, or accountancy, or something of the sort. The young man just told me, Auntie, I'm going in there to read sports management. And I was amazed. I was like, so after that, what are you going to do with it? I'll say, Auntie, there's a lot that you can do with it anywhere in the world where there's sports. So I took time and read about all these courses that are being offered in the universities. Mr. Speaker, gone are the days where we saw footballers as school dropouts, people who cannot be maintained in the mainstream academic structure. That's where we see them playing on the fields. Mr. Speaker, I think as a country, that is one of the reasons why His Excellency the President putting a lot of effort in making sure that we have these astroturfs in our various communities to identify talent at an early stage. Mr. Speaker, even placement in secondary schools in the Western world is based on whether one wants to do mainstream academics or wants to be an athlete. So schools students are chosen into various schools, top schools, and some of them get into these top schools because they get scholarships, because they play soccer, or they play basketball, or they play any other sport, or they're into swimming. Mr. Speaker, I think that we have to encourage our young ones here in the schools as well. Let's all play a part as parents, as members of parliament, as leaders in our communities to erase that perception that if my son tells me, Mommy, I want to grow up to be a soccer player, it means you are a failure. No. If we manage it well as a country, and already we have that international recognition, nation or worldwide, we would be able to make sure that we have the right athletes, we have the right players who would be bringing us glory and bringing in foreign exchange to boost our economy as well. Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying a big congratulations again to our young men, MEDEAMA Sporting Club, for doing this country and all of us this honor. I thank you.
Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the best club in this country, placed fourth. Accra House of Folk, which was also founded in 1935. In 1911, Kotoko was founded in 1935. House of Folk, 1911, placed 12. They were 12 on the log. Your favorite, Mr. Speaker, your favorite Real Tamale United, Real Way Una, was conspicuously absent. RTU, now Tamale City, placed 16th. Mr. Speaker, it tells you something, that those traditional clubs are struggling because of sponsorship. Now these new clubs are able to get the players that they want, groom them well, and get the results and win the leagues. If you go to BOAMAH, Mr. Speaker, you knew of Bofakwa, BA United, Techiman, Holy Stars. They are all absent. They are extinct clubs. You find them. Honorable Bafo West team is in Swatre man. They are playing in the league. Mr. Speaker, football is now a big business, and congratulations to my good friend, Mr. Parker. I watched the last African Cup of Nations Club Championship between Al Ahly and WAC of Morocco. Al Ahly won the trophy 3-2. And if you look at the quality of play, it should tell you that those countries are investing in their academies. Companies are investing in football and sports in general. That is why Morocco could get to the semi-final stage of the last World Cup. If you look at the Senegalese team, it should tell you that some old players are putting money into academies. Patrick Vieira and co. They are putting in big money. What are former national stars doing in Ghana? Everybody is saying government must contribute. Government must contribute. How much can government put in football? Go to the sports village of Mamelodi Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, and you think you are somewhere in Europe. If you don't invest in sports, you won't get the results. Alhaji Gruza, King Faisal, one man, how much can he support King Faisal with? So we all have to go back to the drawing table and look at how football is financed and our sports is financed to be able to win the trophies that we want this country to win. Else, we'll be wearing our national team shirts, going to the stadium and coming back home with high blood pressure and disappointments. If you watch the Black Stars against Madagascar on Sunday or so, Mr. Speaker, this is not the Black Stars you would want to be watching. So a lot has to go on in our sports, and I commend the team for winning the league, and I believe that my club, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, ought to put the right structures in place to bounce back and become the #1 club in Africa. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Made by our colleague on the occasion of the crowning of MEDEAMA Football Club as winners of Ghana's Premier League. I want to take the opportunity to to congratulate the team, the management, and the GFA for this feat. Mr. Speaker, on a lighter note, that statement I have is 7 pages, but I can only see MEDEAMA's attributes on 2 of the pages. So I'm not exactly sure whether our colleague was overexcited, and I think if I were in his shoes, I would be equally excited. But I thought at least 4 pages for MEDEAMA would have been good. Mr. Speaker, we've all heard about the woes of Ghana football, and ever so often we hear people saying people must put in money. Mr. Speaker, how do you put your money? Who on this planet put your money into a venture when you are told that officiating is problematic, facilities are problematic, the training regime is not fit for purpose, and there's no clear route as to whether, even if you invest 10 cedis, whether you even get your 10 cedi back. So, Mr. Speaker, until we have a system where Ghana football gets these issues resolved, it is going to be difficult. It's not as if Ghanaians don't have the ability to invest in football. That is why I take the opportunity to congratulate those who have risked to invest in this venture, especially those who have invested in MEDEAMA, as a result of which this glory is coming. But, Mr. Speaker, I would encourage GFA to look at this. It is common, it may be wrong, it is common knowledge that the quality of the infrastructure in many of the places is not fit for purpose. For instance, if you were to have a football club in a region and the players are as good as anything, you need to be able to conduct or organize your football matches in such a way that people who are actually going to the stadium to watch the match are safe, and then 2, you'll be able to get your gate fees. But we don't have enough stadia in this country that can have that organized properly. So infrastructure is a good thing we should look at. The quality of the training, Mr. Speaker, including this morning, if you were to tune into many media houses, they spend 95% of their time telling us details of football clubs elsewhere in the world. They mention names, I don't even know what the names mean. They have the ability to tell the price of the boot a player wears in every club, but very little about Ghana football. Why is it so? So maybe the media also need to take this, and interestingly, almost every Ghanaian is affiliated to a football team abroad, and majority of them have never even traveled outside of this country. Why we are so passionate about other people's football at the detriment of our own is something we should all find out. Coaching, Mr. Speaker. What are the quality, what quality of coaches do we have in the country? My senior colleague, Honorable ADWOA SARFO, just mentioned something. That is a situation where people actually go to acquire better experience and knowledge in football-related things, management, coaching, and other things. You don't become a better coach simply because you played football for a long period of time, because it's not merely about knowing how to kick the ball, but it's a series of things, even physical training and other things, the nutrition, whatever makes people fit to be able to play football for a period of time. We need to work on those things. Officiating, Mr. Speaker, ever so often, appalling situation where you see officiating officials assaulted on the pitch simply because one side feels that the officials have misconducted themselves or did not give the appropriate verdict in one case or the other. Mr. Speaker, we need to look at these things. And Mr. Speaker, maybe, we need to look at situations where maybe when the majority leader in his Razak days, when he was a footballer with, accolades, I'm sure those days, we all went to school where people actually came through secondary schools and other things through the district sports and regional sports activities. As we speak, I think there's a regional sports activity, district sport activities going on across the country. Mr. Speaker, you'll be surprised that some districts are not even taking part at all because they can't fund the activities of the district. Meanwhile, the district assemblies have a budget line in their composite budget, which is for sports. But where is the money at the district assembly? Because Common Fund hasn't released this money to them. So I know districts that are not participating. But those days, we were able to nurture talents from schools in terms of athletics, football, and other things. So maybe we need to look at that. But on this occasion, I think it's a good day, and I want to commend my colleague for making this statement. I think we should celebrate these little glories to urge us to be able to look for bigger glories to celebrate as a country. And I want to take the opportunity again to commend MEDEAMA Football Club, the management, GFA, for this feat. And we want to see more of this. Hopefully, one day, we can raise our football to a level where we will be more concerned about wearing MEDEAMA Football Club t-shirt rather than wearing Manchester United Football Club t-shirt. I think I'll be happier to see many people wearing Kotoko has t-shirts than wearing Arsenal or what do you call it, Manchester, because those are the ways you are investing in somebody's football at the detriment of your own. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.